Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kirklees Guitar School Podcast. I'm Joe with my co-host, Mr. George Loveridge. How are you?
I'm all right. It'd be better if I played that chord properly, but hey-ho, it's okay.
It's okay, we all make mistakes,
We
don't we?
do.
You know, if anybody saw my outtakes here in this room, there's a lot of swearing and a lot of wrong chords. It happens more often than you think.
There we go.
Has this week been a rock or a roll?
It will be a rock, because last night we will have played the Pie Hole.
Yes.
By the time this airs, we'll have been at the Pie Hole with nearly 60 of you, which will have been really good. But otherwise, this week's been a really good week. Back to one-to-one lessons after half-term. You know, last week I said everything needs to calm down. It's a bit busy. It's just we're still on cruise control at that level, to be honest. And
so when you said that last week, I thought, oh no, I've just put George's name forward for a load of gigs that I can't do.
Well, funny you mention that. The band I'm in, where their guitarist passed away a few years ago that I'm standing in for, we're meant to have a rehearsal 14th of June. So rehearsal 7th of June, rehearsal 14th of June. Well, that rehearsal on the 14th of June has become a live rehearsal at a pub now.
Right.
Which is nice.
Yeah, a bit of paid practice.
Yeah, so that's going to amp up, and there's lots going on. But do you know what? It is a rock, and I hope last night went well. In fact, I know it will have gone well.
Yes.
So more 80s stuff. So for those of you who came along, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
You will see it next week.
Yes, it'll be. Yeah, that's it. We'll be a week behind.
Yeah, rock or roll for yourself, though?
It's been a rock this week, but there's a sort of regular theme within the sort of cycle of terms here at the school. With the start of the final kind of academic term of the year before the kids break up for summer, and there's a lot of boring admin stuff that I've got to do on the back end of that, you know, invoicing and accounts and all that kind of stuff. So not the kind of stuff that people tell you about when you start up your own business because you want to play guitar all day every day. You have to start doing adult stuff. Adulting, I think it's called, isn't it? But I've been playing plenty of guitar. In the academy, we're doing a practice challenge for the month of June. So nice. Academy members, I know I'm a day behind on the posting for that, but I'll get to it. And just preparing loads of lessons. I have so much stuff to share with everybody on the main channel in the month of June and July. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. So what's on the agenda for today?
So today we're talking about the music of the 27 Club. I've always had some sort of morbid fascination with the 27 Club. If you're unfamiliar, it seems that if you're a musician from, well, not just the 60s and 70s, but even now and 20 years ago, if you hit it hard as a musician, whether you're partying hard, working hard, playing hard, it seems 27 is all that you can manage. And it's this fascinating coincidence that there's so many artists who we know and love ended up in this, the Devil's Club, the 27 Club. People like Robert Johnson, arguably the first member. So we're going to talk about the music from those artists. I think it's worth celebrating the music that came from them.
And what guitarists, what students of the guitar can learn from that as well. So I'm looking at the first person on the list, and I actually misread this. I thought it was a typo when we were a
different podcast for you this morning.
Yeah, it was. So Brian Jones, who was Brian Jones?
Brian Jones was one of the founding members of the Rolling Stones. Or at least he was in the Rolling Stones until 1960X. I've forgotten, I must admit. But he was 27 when he left us. So Jones was an interesting character, obviously, hence why he's in the club. And I believe he was quite experimental with the stuff compared to Richards. I know Richard chopped off a low E and played in G. But Jones was a real character in the Stones as much as Jagger was, I'd like to say. You get Charlie Watts, the drummer, who was very much quiet, a bit like Nick Mason in Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I don't know much. I think the other personalities within that band...
They overstretch. Yeah, it's like Sid Barrett of the Stones as well. Floyd, sorry. Whoops, yeah.
But yeah, I just sort of think... I don't know that much about him, to be honest, because of the likes of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and Charlie Watts. Big personalities in that band, and, you know... so what's the riff we're going to look at that's
we're going to try and remember, we've been scratching our heads, thought it'd be funny if we try it in the show instead. Paint It Black, of course. It's, other than Satisfaction, I think it's one of the poster 60s. You hear Paint It Black, you think of Twiggy and a Mini and all that stuff. So it played on a sitar, I think, at least.
Yep. Or it might have been a sitar guitar, which is I could get one of them, you know. I know somebody that's got one, so maybe we'll.
You know a guy, do you?
I do know a guy. Yeah. We actually use one in the Northern Live set because there's sitar guitar on that. So I'll have a word with Daz and see if I can.
Bill Bailey does some good stuff with sitar guitars.
He plays anything.
He does.
So show me that riff, because I've noticed you've got a capo on the second fret, but I don't.
We spoke about this in the live show actually when we did capos. You learned me this without a capo, and you played it with we're swapping?
I don't remember.
See, that was
It's like
November.
since
That was
then.
November.
Yeah.
It's now June. Can you hear all those Doctor Who noises?
Yeah, well, it's the Daleks in your
Wow.
amplifier.
Let's turn the flanger off. I can't remember which note comes first, but anyway, we'll try one more time. We'll talk about it.
That's why I don't like to use it with a capo,
can't
because
trust
it's
open
all
strings.
kind of mushed together. Whereas how I'd play that is I'd go. So it's all very linear on one string, and how a sitar works is it's got two sets of strings. It's got the strings that you actually play, and then it's got what's called sympathetic strings that sit in the body of the instrument and they resonate with, as you play the guitar, the wood of the of the sitar, the wood of it vibrates, which makes these sympathetic strings kind of create that drone.
That's news to me. Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to achieve with
That D.
with that pedal tone. So it's a real. I did a lesson on this on the KGS main channel. It got quite a lot of views. I reckon quite a few of you have probably seen that. But what I feel like this song does really well, outside of that, because that's a really satisfying, fun riff to play, it's the chords for the chorus. Now, we all know the words for it. I see the girls go by, da 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 da. But the chords in it are pushed. It's not.
No,
It's only E minor. It's, and it's this push and pull between the two. So what's a push? Well, a push means if I counted to 4, George, and asked you to play on beat 1 of the bar, I'd go say you got yeah, okay. If I asked you to just play on beat 1 of the bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, right. So that's coming in on the beat. Now, if I asked you to push this, it's almost like you're so eager to get going, you sort of jump the gun a little bit, but you don't just kind of jump it in a random place. You jump it on what we call the and of 4. So what that means is you can split the bar up into quavers.
If you want to sound really pretentious.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that the very last bastion of the bar before it starts all over again, you put that chord there. So if I was to count you in, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Yeah, so it's the whole thing about pretension. It's not that it's not cool to learn this, but it's saying play on the and of 4.
Yeah.
It's really like big band stuff.
And everyone goes,
Go from the and of 4, and a 1, and a 2. But it's those accents, really, those pushes.
and I don't think that was calculated. I think that was just teenage angst.
I think so. It's the whole satisfaction thing, and I also like it's the first song I came across where sevenths are wisely used to give it that Mediterranean kind of.
I'd almost sort of describe it as like a sort of almost flamenco type. Type.
I think, and that's what Jones was experimenting with. I'd like to say.
Well, even though.
All right, if we're doing all the Stones, then. I don't even know if Watts played on Watts did drum on it, but Jones. So yeah, Rolling Stones, notable mention at the start of the show.
I think another one that we need to talk about, especially when it comes to guitar players, is Mr. Jimi Hendrix.
Another 60s gent.
Absolutely, the sort of poster child of 60s psychedelia and guitar music, and an absolute pioneer.
I would say Chuck Berry had
guitar.
the 50s for pioneering.
Yeah.
And I'd say it was Hendrix for the 60s. I wouldn't know who you'd put in the 70s. There's too many to choose from. You could have Blackmore, you could have Kossoff. There's so many.
I'd probably say Kossoff.
Brian May.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments down below who pioneered the 70s. Anyway, so Jimi Hendrix just completely turned the world upside down. And what I find fascinating is only until the back end of his career he really got any kind of success in the States.
It's devastating, isn't it?
He came to London for a fortnight, cut Clapton off on stage and just completely changed the world within a fortnight, which just proves to you that, it's different strokes for different folks,
Absolutely, yeah.
So when I listen to Hendrix, obviously I'm not using the right tool for the job. I've got quite a few Strats, but I haven't got any here right now. They're all in other places or having work done elsewhere.
Sorry, I left my wallet in my other Bentley.
But I'm gonna have to make do with this. But what I like about Hendrix is you can get the really kind of delicate, all that kind of hammer-ons.
Across 2 notes as well.
Yeah, all the...
And in Little Wing, there's a ding as well. It's lovely.
But then on the other side of that, Foxy Lady is probably the first tune I'd teach any Jimi Hendrix fan because there's next to no in it.
Rather than the...
But look at that, there's so many moving parts
There
in
are.
that. Whereas what I want your student to get from that, you've got an F-sharp power chord at the bottom of the neck. And then you're going to use your pinky to bar...
Is it the high E and B?
The high E and the B. It's almost like, the All Right Now A chord.
All right,
it's
yeah.
like that. But you're just catching those top...
Oh, so you're hitting the power chord as well? I've never played that.
And then you'll play the open A string and you'll go A, B, C, D flat.
Ready for the... Back to the... Which is the 5th?
That's it, yeah.
Well, the 1
So you're
and the
moving
5.
it up harmonically. So you've got really kind of... You've got the delicate sort of textures of, even... Which is really, really different from anything else on the radio at that time. Really delicate, ornate guitar work. And then something like Foxy Lady comes in and...
I love that.
Now,
I
the
love
only
that
way
stuff.
that you can get that is by giving your guitar a good hiding.
Hitting quite hard,
Yeah.
I must admit.
So I think studying Jimi Hendrix is you've so much to learn. I mean, I'm just sort of riffing here, but even now you could use that as a strummer. I like to use it as bar chords.
Yep.
Even though there's so many lessons.
You mentioned, that Purple Haze again. It's the Hendrix chord. If you're finding your regular bars too difficult, well, you can use the bottom half of the chord. And the Hendrix chord.
Yeah.
Can't forget that.
The Hendrix chord.
Absolutely.
Right, okie. So, Jimi Hendrix, probably one of my favourites off this list, but then we're going to kind of fast forward 40 years now.
Yes.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah. Potentially one of the most tragic members of the 27 Club.
The 27 Club all have one thing in common. Not just the death of being the death at 27, but also the cause of death.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's the life of excess.
I mean, take Robert Johnson, for example.
Yeah.
I sold my soul to the devil to play the blues. Did you, Ek? You drank yourself silly. I think it's quite poetic if you look at it that way.
I think the mystery around that really aids the story.
The whole sort of... And we have so much to thank... Sorry to jump away from Winehouse. There's so much to thank Robert Johnson for. And he recorded this in the 30s.
In a hotel room, he recorded pretty much all of them.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Together. But new little bits keep sort of coming out of the woodwork.
They do.
People find like old documentation and stuff, and it's something over the past kind of 30 years where this story kind of just keeps
developing,
evolving.
yeah.
It's called at a time before everything was televised, and somebody could live quite an anonymous life and nobody knows anything about him. So anyway, Amy Winehouse.
Everyone knew everything about Amy Winehouse, sadly. She was very targeted in the public eye. You were older than me when it was all fashionable. I mean, we started the jam today with Back to Black. We've spoken a lot about Valerie. So we've done Valerie a lot. Rehab, great song. You Know I'm No Good, great bass part. That she was a soul, jazz, R&B singer, but turned pop.
It was a bit like the Duffy thing, wasn't it? It was just kind of R&B enough to sort of bend everybody's ear that has a good taste in music, but also get a radio as well.
Birdseed, Duffy.
Yeah.
It's one we gig.
And it's just a blues in C.
It is, yes. G, that one.
Is it in G?
Yeah.
Right, sorry, my mistake. But that could quite easily have been a Winehouse song, couldn't it?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
You know?
Chris. So there's a lot of lessons in Back to Black to learn.
Yeah, one other one I want to mention while it's on the tip of my tongue. Tears Dry on Their Own, I think, is my favourite song. It's just, like, harmonically, it's just...
I'm going to have to go and listen to some more Winehouse.
It's lovely. Have you heard her version of Heard It Through the Grapevine that she did on Jules Holland with Paul Weller?
Yep, and there's also
Stellar.
All My Love in the Beatles. Now, that is very jazzy.
Yeah.
But you would never think to turn Closure to more... we're going to have to listen to some later.
Yeah.
So Back to Black uses a harmonic minor.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Push your glasses up, George.
Yeah. Well, the chord progression at the end, we've got D minor, G minor, add a seventh just because. We then go to B flat. So that A7, and what that means in the backing, I can drop the root down a semitone. Can you just play me that progression again? I'll literally just put that in.
But that chord has to be a seventh chord for it to work.
Chord. Yep.
Now, what's George done there in layman's terms? He's taken the minor scale, D minor scale, and the seventh note of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I've raised it.
You've raised it by 1 fret. And what that does is it gives it this very kind of neoclassical.
It's your whole harmonic.
Now, other players have I mean, this is all over. It's not, people look at this stuff and kind of go, oh, well, it's only like Avenged Sevenfold or Yngwie Malmsteen or anything like that. No. Martin Knopfler uses it in Sultans of Swing, you know, because that's in D minor, but it'll, instead of G minor and G minor in the middle, he'll put a C. And the crux is putting that B flat.
It's all of that stuff.
Yeah,
it's a perfect...
all that kind of
The
business.
Winehouse one is a perfect blank canvas for if you're experimenting with different chords like major sevenths or minors. If you've got your bars and you wanted to take it a step further, in that progression, I would take D minor, make it seventh.
Yeah.
G minor, take my pinky off to make it the seventh. And then instead of B flat, I'd add B flat major 7. And then to the dominant 7. But you don't want the Beatles, what I call the Beatles 7th now, where you add that G, the higher octave G rather than the regular G.
Well, you can make it a 7th, or you can make it a
Beatles
much
7th.
more 7th, which is, and it's song specific. It depends what the song calls for.
And that's
how
what I
much
mean,
subtlety
Valerie.
there
Some
is.
songs you put a major 7 in where it could be a normal major chord, and it's too sweet, whereas that works. Something like Careless Whisper does it as well. Very similar chord progression, actually.
Great example.
Another talent who's no longer with us, but he managed to get a little bit later on.
So what we're getting out of with the Winehouse stuff, there's a lot of techniques that hark back to the 60s and 70s, rhythm and blues, soul, Motown, that kind of stuff, which you can learn from something that. And I think as well, one thing to sort of note is the Winehouse stuff, although it sounds old, it's recorded with modern technology, and it's a lot easier to decipher what's going on because it's not been recorded on a potato.
She did a great gig with the Specials at Glastonbury.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I think she did Ghost Town and that sort of stuff because it's her rematch. So, another member of the 27 Club, you're using an offset in a drops tuning. Can anybody guess where we're going next?
So, we've spoken about Kurt Cobain quite a lot on the podcast, and I've done quite a lot of lessons recently. And I didn't want to just pick an offset up and play Smells Like Teen Spirit and go, oh, Kurt Cobain, what a shame, move on to the next one. One thing that into sort of advanced beginners into the kind of intermediate stage of people learning to play the guitar, what I found when I was playing and just learning songs that I was interested in, I didn't realise was sneaking in loads of vegetables, right? Look outside of, don't worry about... we've done that.
Excuse me,
Alternate picking.
that tone is phenomenal.
So yeah, I've got my Jazzmaster tune down to D standard. Just sounds yes. Anyway. But what Kurt Cobain would do is he'd tune his guitars down purposely. Now, there's a lesson coming up next. In fact, it might have... No, week after next, I'm doing a lesson on Man Who Sold the World. I've done the full lesson for that, where he tuned the guitar to E flat, which I did for the lesson. But he was known to tune his guitar down even more to get something like this.
Is that on a plane?
That's lithium. Is that
Whoops,
one.
sorry.
Right. Now, what I'm doing there's only one open chord in the whole thing. It's all bar chords, and all I ever wanted to do, I heard Nevermind for the first time, and there's not a bad song on that album. But I remember hearing Lithium, and there's a lot of people that come to me who say, I want to learn how to play Lithium, and I've tried to learn to play the chords, and I just can't do it. And it's because they're not tuning the guitar down. That's, if... could you just, as an experiment for me, could you play E major, G sharp, C sharp, B, A, C, D? It's not right, is it?
No.
But also, you need that. You need that.
The chug.
And it's not just going. It's. He's sort of playing
like
quite
Motown
percussively.
feel,
Almost. But the point I'm trying to get at is what Kurt Cobain taught me really, really early on was bar chords aren't as scary as you think they are.
No, they're not.
You just need to find a song that you want to play enough.
That's the motivation to do it.
And it's kind of like, it doesn't matter how creative I get with a capo, I'm not going to be able to play Lithium with a capo playing cowboy chords and it's going to sound like Lithium. I have to do it the way that they're doing it on the record. And that's kind of, with the bar chord thing, you either need to find a song that's, you're just incapable of playing it another way and you want it bad enough, or you just need to keep chipping away at it. Bar chords are such a tricky topic for so many guitarists, and you just need to keep hammering away at it. The first time you try to play a C chord, you're, oh my God, 3 frets, I can't do that. And eventually it came because you had no other option. This is the same. So that's what I take away from Cobain's playing outside of the the obvious.
Fab. So from Cobain, we're going to another male frontman. We're looking at Jim Morrison.
Yes.
From The Doors. I must admit, The Doors, Riders of the Storm, I grew up listening to the Snoop Dogg version. So it was on Need for Speed Underground, the PS2 game. I'm
replaying that at the minute, you know.
Wicked game. You on the Nissan 350Z?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. Welcome back.
Yeah.
But that's more Ray Charles, that. But Break On Through.
It's just the same, isn't it?
And it's not a guitar riff, that. It's something keys. I'm not upset keyboard players out there.
Fender Rhodes piano.
Thank you very much.
Fender Rhodes piano and Vox Continental organ is what they're using for that. Now, Ray Manzarek, criminally underrated, who was the keys player for the Doors, and was the real brains behind it all. So the culmination of the Doors was John Densmore, the drummer, jazz drummer, Robbie Krieger, electric guitar player, who we're going to talk about in a second, flamenco Spanish guitar player that was given an SG because it was the 60s and everybody was tripping.
Yeah.
Jim Morrison, the sort of more artsy poet, writing, that kind of
visionary.
Yeah.
Well, I get Syd Barrett character sort of thing.
And then you've got Ray Manzarek, who is very kind of jazz, but doing the dual organ thing now because they didn't have a bass player. He'd play all the right-hand parts on that Vox Continental organ. You think, in the top of Break On Through to the Other Side, there's like this keys pad going, ba, 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 ba. Well, that's right hand on the keys.
Right.
And then Fender Rhodes is doing all the bass parts, so he's playing two parts at the same time.
To be honest, you mentioned the jazz influence. You can hear that in the start of Riders of the Storm.
Well, even at the beginning of Break On Through, that sort of like drum, the drum groove that starts it off, But yeah, Riders on the Storm, and it's all Fender Rhodes. Now, Fender Rhodes actually made him a keyboard specially that was just the lower range of the Fender
all he
Rhodes,
needed.
and it sat on top of his organ, so you'd see him playing on
A lot of
two
respect
keyboards
for
at the same
players
time.
like that.
Incredible player. I think he died recently. I can't remember. But anyway, so Robbie Krieger brought this kind of like bluesy flamenco thing to sort of water the jazz down a little bit. But I mean, there's so many Doors songs, obviously Breaking Through. Roadhouse Blues is an absolute
We'll have to have a go at that, won't we?
Yeah, we can have a go at that. Peace Frogs, Love Street. There's Riders on the Storm. There's LA Woman. There's.
Yes.
They had so many. They did so many albums. What they do is they do an album for sort of the masses, and then they do a blues album, and they do an album
because
that
would be paid by the masses, and then they could do what they wanted, I guess.
Well, I think it's just where they were in the career, and also how difficult their personal lives were becoming because of how it all unravelled.
But was it? It wasn't 71 that Jim Morrison died. It must have been later. Or was it 71? Was it that early?
I don't know.
But yeah, he was 27 as well.
I've got 1970 in my head, but I'm not quite sure. I'll put it in post.
Okay. So Roadhouse Blues.
What does that teach a guitarist?
Loads. So if you've been around since the start, we used to do Riff of the Week way back when we filmed on the other set. And this was like maybe Riff of the Week edition number 1.
Yeah, it was a successful riff lesson that I'd done on YouTube.
So it's
as well.
I don't really know it. Is it? I always want to go backwards.
Now, what I'm doing there is it's kind of got this swung kind of...
One, and two, and three.
It's almost, it's like a flat tyre. It's a bit heavy on one side, yeah? And that, just for your picking in general...
Down, up and down, alternate, yeah. Hey, if you were doing that in D standard, it would sound huge. Like everything would fall off the shelves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we're going to play this A note on the 5th fret. Now, you can do it further down if you want. I know somebody told me off for that in the comments of one of the other videos, but whatever. It's just an A, get over it. So you're going to play that A note on the 5th fret with the index finger. Now, what I'd like you to do is play A, B flat, and B. But what you've got there is you've got perfect 4th, flat and 5th. You've got the blue note. Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Hence the resolve, it feels nice.
It does. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer on. So I'm going to pick that 5th fret. I'm going to then bash my finger into the 6th fret. I'm then going to bash my finger into the 7th fret.
It's not often that you use hammer-ons with your middle finger.
Yeah.
And your ring finger as well, yeah. So that's a good thing to do. And you get to do it again. And you I think that's a great exercise to warm your fingers up.
The technical focus for the Nirvana lesson that's coming out next week is all about trills, and that sort of...
Well, because then you get to your whole... all of that stuff.
So there's learning to be had in anything, and I just think with the 27 Club, like... How much more music would the world have been given if it hadn't happened? But then would it have happened in the first place because
people are
visionaries and people on the absolute, and whether it's struggling with mental health issues or substance abuse or other different things, does that make you? It obviously puts you in a different frame of mind.
I think it does.
But does it make you create different things? And we'll never know the answer.
You look at Janis Joplin. We actually started our Queens of Rock episode with Janis Joplin, and I don't know, there's a fantastic clip, I mentioned it before, of her singing with Tom Jones.
Yeah.
And she's like plugged in at the mains. She is alive. And Tom doesn't really know what to do with himself compared to this presence. And you think, how far would that have gone? I mean, you look at Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
I know he got to his early 40s before he had a really unpleasant end, sadly. But you think, what else would have come? And did the treadmill start to slow down for Freddie towards the end?
Yeah.
And would it have been the same for these guys?
Well, like Queen, for example, the early Queen stuff to the sort of middle of their career, absolutely love it. The kind of later stuff with the
From
experimenting
86.
with synthesizers and stuff like that, I'd love to have seen them get, pardon the pun, but break through to the other side of that, you know. And but you know, would Kurt Cobain still be writing legendary songs at the age of 70, or does the fact that he left the world prematurely sort of add to the overall lore of it all, and people are more inclined to think it's...
But our Nirvana is... I know Nirvana were huge back in the day because their tickets were cheap to their gigs, and Kurt was very strong in that. But someone like Dave Grohl, he's had to keep working.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many artists that you see playing Butlins or something because five are playing Demi Dale Pie Hall, you know, because they still got bills.
Morley Town Hall.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Kurt Cobain, would they have been as big if they didn't come to an end?
We'll never know the answer.
But like, who's the bass player in Nirvana?
Chris Novoselic.
He floats under the radar these days.
He left Nirvana and kind of started doing a lot for like local government and stuff like that, and he became sort of like a lot of local politics and just like making the area that he grew up in better,
right.
And occasionally does some Nirvana stuff, you know, Nirvana tributes stuff, but some people like John Deacon's a great example.
I was literally about to talk about John Deacon. He went, Freddie's gone, right, we'll do a memorial gig. I'll take my check at the end of every month. Thank you very much.
And I'm done.
And they reckon he's worth more now than Brian and Roger, who've carried on working.
Yeah.
Because he's just lived a humble life and knew he could never carry on.
Yeah, but can you imagine creating this amazing thing with one of your mates and then all
they're gone? Yeah, I get it. But then
on that note, I think we need to wrap up today's podcast. So what do you think about the whole situation? If Hendrix, Cobain, Jim Morrison, Amy Winehouse, Brian Jones, if they were all still here today, do you think they'd be as popular as they are, or has them leaving this earth earlier than intended
caused a rise in their popularity?
Yeah, very good.
A legacy, that's how we'll leave it.
Very good. On that note, we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you so much for watching.